want to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below.
Roland made a really legitimate point here. I will say, a lot of Black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by Black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point that felt ignored. But you feel ignored, and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed, so then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting Black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the Black women. Is majority, like he said, vote Democrat, but that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people and go advance policies that harm your people, I just don't understand that.
I literally have Black men calling my radio show saying, well, we've got enough Black women in power. Ketanji Brown Jackson's in the Supreme Court. We have Vice President Kamala Harris. I don't know if I want to vote for Stacey Abrams. Who would not be proud of Stacey Abrams unless you're so insecure as a man?
It is good to be here in this moment, surrounded by your love and support. And let me begin by offering congratulations to Governor Brian Kemp. Our state has experienced one soul-crushing crisis after another over the past few years. But even during these trying times, the fighting spirit of Georgia has prevailed. We've seen what's possible when we stand up for our neighbors and protect each other. We've made sacrifices. We've pitched in. We've seen each other's fights as our own, and we've done things we never thought we could. It is in the spirit of that endurance and that persistence that I decided again to run for governor. I see in this crowd women and men who have been a part of this journey since I put my name on a ballot in 2006. And while I may not have crossed the finish line, that does not mean we will ever stop running for a better Georgia. We will never stop running for the truth that we know to be true, for the people we know need to see us, for the ones who don't know they deserve to stand, let alone run. And tonight, we must be honest, even though our fight for the governor's mansion may have come up short, I'm pretty tall.
All right, so let's just go over this article from LatinoRebels.com. And this is, in a sense, going to touch on why it is that Stacey Abrams lost. And it has nothing to do with Black men. In Georgia's race for governor, Latino voters preferred the Republican incumbent Brian Kemp, a white man, over Democratic challenger Stacey Abrams, a Black woman. Despite what is broadly seen as anti-Latino immigrant rhetoric by the Republican Party overall, the political right has made inroads among Latino voters, challenging a long-held assumption that they lean Democrat. The Republican strategy of focusing on issues such as crime, the economy, and immigration provided the party an opportunity to take attention away from voting restrictions, which disproportionately affect Black and Latino voters, as well as another hot button issue, abortion rights. Several trends suggest that Latinos' voting patterns are similar to the voting patterns of white voters. Protestant Latinos, for example, are more likely than Catholic or religious unaffiliated Latinos to support anti-immigrant views and ideologies that align with those of white evangelicals. Many also open to homophobic and transphobic ideas along various anti-Black beliefs. What Republicans seem to be doing well revolves around class and race, the politics of which many immigrants from places like Cuba and Venezuela bring with them. for such groups, often seeing themselves as whiter and thus part of the upper classes. The image of darker and poorer people coming to the United States leads them to call for restrictions on immigration. And just within that little bit that I read off to you, you were able to hear why it is that Stacey Abrams lost. Now, as I showed you guys before, and as we were all able to hear the clips that I've played before with, a black woman or two or three that decided to go online and basically state that, hey, black men, you need to stop following all of these other guys and you need to think for yourselves. You need to come out here and vote. If you don't vote, it's going to be a problem and everything is going to be on you and it's going to be your fault. You also have Stacey Abrams that basically stated that if black men come out and vote for her, then she will win that state, which then means the opposite, that if black men don't come out and vote and show up to those polls and she loses, that means that it's going to be all on black men. It's going to be the black man's fault. Like I said before, this is the problem that I have had for a very long time since I've been up here, which is the fact that whenever something goes wrong, it's always a black man's fault. It's not the fact that a person who is in political office should be doing better. They should be trying to get votes from everybody, right? And the main thing that she neglected to do was to target specifically the Latino vote. And because she was not able to do that, they didn't invest time and energy and research into doing that. They lost out on those numbers. And this is why Brian Kemp was able to seize victory. This had zero to do with black men. Zero. This had everything to do with Stacey Abrams and her party deciding not to go out there and also, along with trying to get quote unquote black men to vote, also targeting and trying to get the Latino vote, trying to incentivize that to take place. Obviously, they didn't prioritize that and they didn't make that happen. If they did not work so hard on trying to prioritize and trying to formulate black men into such villains, right, publicly, then they would have obviously been able to get the victory. They would have got the W. But that is not what took place. And just in case people want to give me some pushback and they still want to say it's the black man's fault, I'm going to let this woman here tell you what it is.
Her candidacy, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm here to help you get it. Number one, over 40 million people have already voted. Georgia has had record turnout. They would have you believe that no black men at all have voted, and that's just simply not true. So rather than saying, I blame you, how about they say, I will do better? Blaming black voters or blaming black men is no different than blaming the person that got cheated on in the relationship. Perhaps if you just cooked more, I wouldn't have cheated. At the end of the day, it is about who is trying to engage these voters and if they failed. And I want to give you this example. Just bear with me quickly. David Axelrod, a white man, a top Democrat, Obama's go-to person, said the other day very clearly that Democrats have failed in their economic message. Nobody is saying that he's spreading misinformation. He said that they are not reaching out the way that they should. Hillary Rosen also said the same thing, which is a top Democrat strategist. No one is telling them, oh, well, you're just spreading misinformation or you don't know what you're doing. And I have to say this to progressives as well. They also do this racist trope, and they call it misinformed voters, low education, low information voters when they don't get their way. It is basically a racist trope that says that black men are lazy, that they're not involved, and it is flat out a lie. And let's talk about targeting voters. Stacey Abrams said they're being targeted for misinformation. Well, guess who's being targeted for actual engagement? The Hispanic community by the GOP has strategically been targeted with over 30 plus diversity centers with over 20 plus strategically in Latino communities, brick and mortar, that says, hey, come on in. We want to tell you about the Republican Party. And so the response to that from Democrats was, hey, well, we're doing advertisement. So rather than blaming black men, why don't you ask the Democrat Party, why is it that they have not engaged black men or black women, because we do vote together, by the way, and talk about an economic policy that we would adhere to? And so it's a lie. It is a racist trope. It is something that is designed to blame and beat black men with a public scalding when they don't get their damn way. And it has to stop.